Here with my guy, Kenny Stubblefield, episode 159, man. 175 is coming up soon.
175 is coming quick, bro.
Yeah,
It's
man.
wild.
Yeah. We are back, man. We are fresh after Martin Luther King Day. It's a special game, man. It's a special day.
It
Of
is.
course, we know the things that Martin Luther King Jr. did, not only in this city, but across the entire world, man. It just affect, civil rights and equality and all those type of things. Some other stuff was going on yesterday, too, but I'm just going to stick to Martin Luther King Day, man. I got a little distracted when the show came on, man. I saw a new jaw colorway coming out that looks like looks like Oreo cookies with a pink Nike sign. Looks like it's like a cream. It literally looks like a pair of Oreo cookies. It's called coconut milk or something like that, which is I'm a little, it's a little pause word on the name there, but a pair of jaws coming out called the coconut milk, but they
What?
look like Oreos with a pink Nike sign.
I gotta see these.
They literally look like Oreo cookies. It looked like an Oreo cookie for real.
What'd you think about the ones yesterday? The Let Me Be Jaws.
Yeah, I like those, man. That's shout out to John. That's a dope collab, man. When Nike starts doing crossover shoes with you, like when you got like an Air Force One with the jaw logo on it and Let Me Be jaw on the inside of the shoe too, the yellow and black colorway. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna see how they look with my Colorado stuff. Hopefully, Coach Prime will still be the coach of Colorado.
I don't know how much. I don't know if I like these coconut milks.
You don't like them?
I don't know. The lighting looks a little bit weird, so it's kind of hard to tell. Like what the actual the lighter color is. Like, is it?
I don't
white?
think I want to wear a shoe called the coconut milk. I think I'm kind of good on it.
I mean, they look cool. They look fine, but
now the last pair I got was the 12 time, the highlighter yellow green.
Oh yeah,
with orange. I love those. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on the coconut milks.
They're definitely moving towards that that bubble wave looking what the pennies did, the hyper dunk or the foam posits. They're kind of they're all right.
Yeah, they cool. Nice little off white and black with the little pink thing. Now you've seen them all pink joints? You seen them?
Yes.
You seen the giraffe joints too?
I have not seen the giraffe.
But did you see the game last night, Kenny Stubblefield, when your Memphis Grizzlies defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves? I believe the final score was 108-106. Kind of a pedestrian score, man. Not your typical today's NBA score. Maybe Charles Barkley and them were a little happy to see a score that wasn't a crazy score or whatever. But yeah, man,
points wins a game.
Yeah, 108-106. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 24 points. Had a huge fourth quarter. I think he played every minute of the second half except for one.
Yeah.
I just have a question, Kenny Stubblefield. I pride myself on being a pretty positive person when it comes down to the Grizzlies. I don't get into a lot of nonsense. I tell people, block people who give negativity, mute them, whatever you need to do, unfollow, whatever you need to do, man, for your peace. And like when it comes down to the Grizzlies, really not that hard to please, man. I'm one of the people, I've been very optimistic about this team, saying that I believe this is a championship team. I love the pick of Zack Edey, Jalen Wells, all these type of guys. Like, I'm really excited about this team. I'm really optimistic about this team. But Kenny, something happened to me, bro. And I still think I'm optimistic. I'm not going to say I'm particularly pessimistic, but I'm just not as enthused about things as I once was for this particular season. And I had to ask myself the other day, why are we winning games and I'm not excited outside of in the moment? Like, I was in FedEx Forum first time in a long time watching the game. Had some seats to give away with my job, so I'm sitting there watching the game. Watching us come back and beat Minnesota down by as many as, I believe, 15 to them, I think, at one time. Came back and beat Minnesota at FedEx Forum. Great atmosphere in FedEx Forum as well for the game. While you already talked about MLK, how dope the whole MLK Day experience is. But I'm just not excited, bro. Like I just feel like the air has been personally knocked out of me. And I don't know what it is. And I think the main thing is, I said this on Jason and John's show as well. I said coming into the season and even early in the season, with the talent we have on this team, guys who haven't played a game like the GGs, the Vince Williams, those type of guys.
Right.
I thought that we were a team that in my eyes, could be a team that could compete for an NBA World Championship. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a small group of teams that can say that. And I think we're one of those teams. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win the championship, no. But I do think we're a team that can compete at a high level that you could see playing late into the playoffs. I just don't think that anymore, bro. And I'll say the main reason why. It's coaching. It's coaching. Like, I don't think that we're a team that's going to be coached well enough to go deep into the playoffs. I'm watching the game last night, Monday night. We record the show on Tuesday for Wednesday. So I'm watching the game Monday. Grizzlies jump out early. They're up 11 points on Minnesota. Timeout. Good long national TV game timeout too, right? Get a timeout. And the timeouts are so long, you kind of even forget you're at the game. Like when the game starts back, oh shit.
We got a game.
If you ever been to a WWE event, like those commercial breaks are long as shit. And sometimes they'll introduce both of the wrestlers, and the wrestlers are just kind of standing there and their commercials playing. It's like you just kind of forget you're at WWE Raw, right? So I kind of forgot I was at the Grizzlies game because the breaks are so long. They come back from the break. Minnesota still has their starting lineup on the court. We're talking about 9 minutes left in the first quarter, right? Minnesota, of course, has their whole lineup left out there, right? It's like 9 minutes, 8 minutes left in the first, something. Whatever the little TV time, whatever the little timeout was. The Grizzlies come back, their starters aren't out there. It's like Desmond Bain. I don't know, man. Luke Kennard I don't know who was out there. Luke, Jake, Santi, Brandon Clark. Just what your reserves, right? Your next wave of guys comes in, right? There's like 8 minutes left in the first quarter.
It was Jake wasn't on there yet. It was still Jalen. It was Jalen and Dez were your starters.
It was Jalen, Dez, Santi. Yeah, you're exactly right. It was Jalen, Dez, Santi, Luke Kennard, and BC. Right. 8 minutes left in the first. Minnesota still got their starters out there.
Yeah.
And the 11-point lead just is gone. It's gone. And I'm like, bro, it has to be. I can't be the only person who's watching what I'm seeing. And of course, people, oh no, it's we're taking bad shots and they're missing shots and doing this. Like, no, bro. We were up by 11 points and for no reason pulled out the starters and put our bitch guys up against their starters, up 11. And my thing is, bro, we'd have kept that thing going. That game probably been over in the first quarter. Like, we'd have just kept our starters against their starters. We probably would have been up 20 in the first quarter because Minnesota came out flat. And it's like I watched the game where the Grizzlies were up 11, then we're down 13-15, then battled all the way back and won by 2. So that means that you went on 2 runs where you pummeled these guys, where you got those guys, you buried them twice because you got up on them, you lost all that, then you got down, and you came back and got on top again. So that same run you made in the first quarter, you basically proved that we're better than y'all twice in this game. That's what happens when those type of runs happen. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, like we won the game. Praise everybody, we won the game. But bro, like I saw what I saw, bro. Like, why in the hell are we pulling our dudes out in the first quarter? And it's like, when is the madness going to stop, bro? Like, and there's been games that we didn't come back and win when the same type of stuff happened. I'm sitting up here watching it in real time. And I'm watching a stretch where I'm like, okay, I put on Twitter. It's like, okay, it's 3 minutes or something left in the game. I want to say we're up 2. I said, Taylor Jenkins, just be normal for the last 3 minutes of the game. Just be a normal coach. And who did he put out there? He had Job, Desmond Bain, Jalen Wells, Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm like, no complaints, bro. If we lose with this, hey, we lost. And then there's a dead ball. He takes Jalen Wells out of the game. He brings Luke Kennard in. I'm like, bro, what about watching, bro? Like, why? Why are you taking him out, bro? And there's a stretch early in the game where he's got Ja, Luke Kennard, and Scottie Pippen Jr. all there at the same time. Against the Minnesota team that doesn't play anybody short. Maybe they'll play one guard. They'll play Mike Conley, or they'll play Rob Dillingham, who was cooking us at one point. And I'm so glad that Minnesota's coach Finch, I'm glad he decided to help us by taking them out of the game, because we had to close that game with him, it would have been a problem. But anyway.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense because Chris Finch and Taylor Jenkins
Spider-Man me, for sure. Yeah.
And so, of course, like, Rob Dillingham's killing the Grizzlies, so he's like, hey, Rob, come on back out, bro.
That's enough. Mike Conley, get your old ass out there and do nothing for the last
get out there and do nothing
for the last 5 minutes of the game. Go out there and do absolutely nothing. But it's just crazy, bro. And I see a lineup where I see a quote where Taylor Jenkins is like, well, I didn't really plan on playing Gigi. I just thought we needed a spark of energy. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, and then the fans are like, we want Gigi, and he brings them in. I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Like, what What are you doing, bro? And then, like I said, I still feel like I'm in the sunken place because G.G. Jackson, the narrative this time last week was G.G. Jackson is not ready to play games. He needs the G League run. G League run is over. He plays 3 games. And then Taylor Jenkins like, well, I didn't plan on playing him. So what the hell did he go to the G League for? Like, cause my thing, and I told you guys off the air, I was like, my whole thing with the whole G League thing is if he's going down there, it's really to no benefit unless he's really finna be down there. And he's really ready to go by the time he comes out, knows the offense. He's in shape. Okay, now I'm ready to go. Put me in the game. Let me play 20, 25 minutes. That's really the only benefit of going down there. Going down there for 3 games did absolutely nothing. Coach Taylor Jenkins still was like, yeah, I wasn't finna play Gigi. Because Gigi ain't ready. He ain't ready. Nobody's really expecting it. Well, some people are expecting Gigi to come in and just be that dude. But it's clear that Gigi's not ready. It's clear that this team going into the trade deadline would be much better off if they did something because you still don't really know who your guy. I love Jalen Wells. I'm still kind of concerned of what he's going to be in the playoffs. It's just naturally. Why would you expect a rookie wing? I know he's done some things that are phenomenal for a rookie, but there's always going to be the worry if that guy is going to be ready for the playoffs. I don't know what Marcus Smart's going to be. I still think this team needs another guy that's a 3-4 who can defend knockdown shots. My guy been getting the Fitbit comps out there with the Lakers. My guy Dorian Finney-Smith. I was thinking it could have been him. That's a horrible fit for him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody that goes to the Lakers just gets worse when they go there. But
and folks are using his bad run with the Lakers and saying, and y'all were freaking out that that Zach Kleiman should have, overpaid for him or
right.
Or
and
whatever.
let's not act like there was not a trade like out there, like admitted on both sides pretty much that there was a trade out there for Dorian Finney-Smith. So don't act like,
fit matters.
You might want to say we dodged a bullet, but the Grizzlies wanted that dude. Like that.
Well, and fit matters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, your fit and what you're expected to do on the team matters. Because with the Lakers, there's a lot of standing in the corner while LeBron handles, dribbles the ball into the concrete. But it's just kind of concerning, man, because the fact that we can't beat good teams bothers the hell out of me. And like I'm not sleeping well knowing that Houston has passed us. Like I said this on Jason and John the other day too. How the hell did the Houston Rockets get better than us, bro? Like I can understand the Thunder, bro. I give you the Thunder, right? But why the Houston Rockets better than us? Why we lost to them 3 times and we're looking outmatched by these dudes, bro? And they're younger than we are. You know what I mean? Those type of things bother me. Like I said, man, I'm still optimistic. I think this team is super talented. I think they're super good. But I just don't like feeling like my team is good in spite of the coach, almost to the point where we're playing against the coach, where it's 5-on-1, where the guys are going against the coach's decisions. Because it's like, man, basketball is a very simple game, bro. You put your best 5 against my best 5, and let's see what happens. I don't want to see a lot of minutes, and people brag about bench scoring minutes. Yeah, because they're playing too much, bro. Like the bench, they better be scoring. They better lead the league in scoring. They're playing a hell of a lot of minutes, bro. You know what I mean? And then we get, we post stats about, well, Ja, Bane, and Dez all played more than 30 minutes. Like, bro, that's a very low floor, bro. Like that's a 30 minutes, bro. Like that's a very low floor as far as minutes are concerned. When guys are playing, averaging damn near 40, a game.
I keep hearing people talk about the Grizzlies bench, about how great it is, and I'm like, my thought process is they're not playing a lot because they're scoring a lot. They're scoring a lot because they're playing a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like
they have to score. They're pros. They're out there this long. They have to score, bro. Somebody's got to score. Santi Aldama. Santi, brother, I love you. And I know there are people who say, oh, every time Santi has a bad game, here y'all come. Brother, your floor cannot be that low, man.
No.
Like you're 2 points on a play where Josh spoon fed you awesome dime and you get a dunk. That can't be the only basket you make in a game, in a national televised game against a team who's coming to bust your ass, bro. I don't like how we look when teams come to bust our ass, when teams punch us in the mouth. I do not like how we look, bro. It bothers me so bad, man. The guys like Santi just aren't ready for these big moments. And like when you hear people say things about the Grizzlies, like we're front runners and all that type of stuff, man, we got to own that, bro. That's what we are, bro. We look good and we do a lot of yapping and talking against average to bad teams. When we get these big teams, we full of excuses why we can't beat these teams. But guess what, bro? Guess who you're playing in the playoffs, bro? Good teams. And you look bad against all of them.
But here's what I would say,
and that's it. Like you look bad against everybody, bro. You blown leads, all these things.
Yeah. Here's what I would say to that though is the top 6, 7 players for the Grizzlies, they show up against everybody. They're there. They're in games.
Now, when you saying Santi Aldama is one of those top 6 because he is.
I don't. Okay,
he ain't. And he
let's go. Let's go.
This is what Santi does, bro.
Top 5. Well, let's go starting 5 then.
Santi's number 4 in scoring
with BC. All right, with BC.
Mm-hmm.
So the main guys for the Grizzlies show up and they play. Ja's had a couple of bad games, but I think a lot of it has to do with what you've talked about with, coming off of injury, the mental side of it, trying to get past the fear of kind of those freaky injuries that he's had. The problem is, I think that they're relying too heavily on guys that just ain't got it and playing them way too much. And
it's a waste of time for guys that aren't going to be ready for the playoffs and shouldn't be playing at all.
Right.
Scottie Pippen Jr., I love you. I don't want to see you in the playoffs.
No. Jay Huff.
See your face.
Don't want to see you.
I love you. I don't want to see Jake LaRavia. It's been real. I think we've done enough to try to get you to get whatever money you're going to get this summer, whether it be from us or from another team. I don't want to see you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sorry. Love you, brother. Love all y'all. Who else? Luke Kennard. I hope you're gone in a few weeks. Because I don't trust you in no scenario. It's a big moment, bro. Like, I hope you're gone in about February the 5th. Because I think something needs to happen, bro. Something needs to happen on this team. And it's another big thing that I hate to have to say it, but we're going to go there too. But go ahead.
No, with Luke, it's frustrating because it's like you put him in the game saying the theoretical idea of like what he can do in terms of shooting, knowing that he's probably not going to shoot the ball because he just doesn't when he gets out there. During the first, second, and third quarter, he's been more aggressive, I think, with his shot over the last about a month. But he is such a bad defender. Like, and that lineup, the lineup you talked about with Luke and Ja and Scottie Pippen Jr. at the same time was just mind-blowing to me. Like,
and look how good they looked at the end of the game yesterday, playing a normal lineup of 2 scorers, a defensive wing, defensive big man, and 2 defensive big men, and one that's switchable in Brandon. Well, and both of them are switchable in Jerry and BC. They closed that game very well. We didn't have any silly lineups with people hunting Luke Kennard.
It was normal. It was normal.
It was normal, bro.
Yeah.
It was normal. And it's, I hate to say it, bro, but if this is all we're going to get from Zack Edey, and this is all the way they're going to use him, he ain't going to be ready for the playoffs, bro. He ain't.
Yeah.
He ain't.
Yeah.
They need to do something at the deadline. They need to do something. I don't know whether that's 2 players they need to get. I don't know if they need to get, a rotation big, a guy who can, play more minutes at the 5, or you need to get a wing, or what you need to do. But this roster as is with that coach, you got to get some guys who could be better regardless of what he's doing. All right, man, we got this. If you put us in with 3, if we had an 8-point lead and you took us out, and when we came back it was 1, we can still go win that game. We need enough talent to do that with.
What's confusing to me about the Zack Edey thing is there's certain players that you can tell to get them into the flow of the game, to get them like almost like instill a motivation to like get up and down the floor, to catch balls, to grab rebounds, to do that. There's just there's a couple of things you have to do with them. And I think Zach is one of them. Why not give him 2 post-ups again, a quarter, right? Like, just say, Zach, take your big ass into the paint, post up.
Just go.
I don't care if you miss it. Just go do you. Just
right.
I don't care.
And when he comes in the game, every time he comes in the game, basically feed him. Just run your first 2 plays to get him going.
Just feed him.
Both of them work cool. If neither one of them work cool, and one of them works cool, just go to him early and just see what you get. But just him out there just running around looking, it's dumb, bro. Go
to him, get him into the rhythm of the game, into the rhythm of the offense, where he's a focal point for 2 possessions. That's all you need. And he's ready to go. But instead, like he said in that comment to DeMichael, he's trying to learn how to be a spacer and a cutter.
This shit crazy. Well, Ken, let's take a break, bro. I'm gonna talk about something else Grizzlies related that people really better get ready for. as we go into this offseason? Because
And I have a follow-up question. I have a follow-up question for you.
Right.
This previous conversation, I have a follow-up question after the next.
We'll start with that, and then I'll tell you what we better get ready for this summer, this offseason, if things go the way that I fear. Well, we'll talk about that and more when we come back with more on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
But you look at the 21 team, the 22 team, the 23 team. A lot of times you'll see Memphis go on long winning streaks and then multiple games in a row losses, right?
Yeah.
Like last year, they won 3 conference games and then lost 4. Then they won 3 and then they lost 3.
How many times have we called Memphis seasons roller coasters? Because they take those swings, like you said, like they'll win 3 really good games and then they'll drop a couple just inexcusable.
The things that plagued them in the Temple game, they fixed in the Charlotte game, and they beat another team on the road in a conference where it's landmine season, landmine game after landmine game. They righted the ship rather quickly comparatively to other Tiger teams.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I'm freaking sick and tired of the metrics. Metrics. You know what I'm saying? The metrics are ruining college basketball, and I think we need to do away with them. I know I'm one of the ones that's always looking at them, and I can't help it. But it's because the damn things are updated every single night. If a team went out there and won every single game this year by 1 point, their metrics would be shit, but they would be the national champion. We have a good resume, and we're going to get hurt down the stretch because we're not beating teams by 20 plus. And I think that that's stupid.
College basketball, very specifically, is quite unpredictable.
TJ.
You get these weird runs, dude, and this stuff happens all the time. So when people mention KenPom, I'm like, okay, you can use it sometimes, but it can't be your Bible for a lot of this stuff.
The metrics,
you can't use it that way.
And these dorks and these computers are trying to make college basketball make sense. And that's the beauty of college basketball, is it doesn't freaking make sense.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
My guy, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show, man. I'm up here looking at some of my phone, got caught slipping, man, but I ain't tripping. You said you had a question for me, man. So you had a question for me, a follow-up question for something we were talking about in the last thing.
My question for you is, you've kind of walked through, you asked the question, why doesn't winning feel better, right? Like usually winning.
It don't, bro. We probably finna win 5 straight games. You probably better win this next 3 before you get another game you should be worried about. But I'm like, all right.
So, and I think a lot of that, because there's been frustrations in the past. I think we've all had frustrations with the Grizzlies, where they've been, what they're doing, the decisions they're making, things like that. This year feels different because coming into the season, while all the national media was counting the Grizzlies out and saying they might not even make the playoffs, right? Yeah, like we're sitting here going, dude, they're going to be good.
We're good. Yeah.
Or they're going to be good. And so I think that's where the frustration for most people lies, is that it's like, this is that championship window that we've talked about is opening up, and it is open now. You've got literally, at most times whenever they play, they're going to have 1 or 2 of the best players on the court, and Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. Like they just are. So I guess the question for the follow-up question is we see what the Grizzlies can be and what they should be in terms of that championship contender. What do the Grizzlies need to do to be that championship contender based on what you've seen this far into the season?
It's coaching, bro. It's coaching.
Okay.
The disconnect is coaching. Because like I said before, people say, well, I hope that these guys grow up to the point where they realize that the things that Coach Jenkins is instilling aren't the things to do. We have to remember, this is all they've known. This is the only coach that Ja Morant is known as a pro. Only one Desmond Bain is known, Brandon Clark. Jaren Jackson knew one more. He knew J.B. Bickerstaff, and that's it. These guys, this all they've ever known is Taylor Jenkins. And the stuff that they do, no matter how weird it is, it's just this is what they know, bro. And as far as with the PR grooming for these guys and all that. Like I had a conversation with a Grizzlies employee. I saw out one day. And I said, hey man, we were just talking, shooting this shit. I was like, hey, you got to come on the show. Oh man, you know how this PR stuff goes. Exactly. Like, why does it go that way? Like, why is limited access to the product or specified through a funnel of information, through a small little funnel of information? Why is that how information is being put out there? You know what I mean? Like all those weird things with this organization, man, just how they go about doing things. And they don't know no better, man. It's freaking coaching. But you can see if you didn't see frustration on John Morant's face during certain moments of the game, there was a moment, bro. I hate to go
he yelled at Taylor Jenkins. Yeah.
Right. I hate to go into my dark Twitter bag, but it seemed like there was a moment where Ja was like, man, fuck all that screenless, everybody move this way. I'm just gonna go hoop, bro. Like, get that out of here. It seemed like there was a moment where Ja was telling Taylor Jenkins, fuck you and Coach Ichilo's offense. I'm about to go do some Ja shit. And I got the shoes on and say, let Ja be Ja, bro. Like, for real, bro. Like it's, and I think this, as time goes on, those frustrations will mount. And I do think that in a logical world, based on what I'm seeing, we're looking at Taylor Jenkins last season, because there's no way that this team goes to the playoffs, loses early, which is what I predict to happen. Because I think in the seed we're going to get the Lakers, we're going to get the Clippers, we're going to get Denver, somebody like that, and we're going to get smacked first round in the playoffs. I think that's happening. I think any team that's older, tougher, those type of things is going to put us out of the playoffs. And I think it's, you're talking about some well-coached teams in there too, where two out of those three coaches are two of the best coaches in the NBA. Right. Mike Malone and
Tyronn Lue.
Tyronn Lue. Now, JJ Redick, I think he's a rookie. So yeah. But I hate to come off so negative, man, but it's like I'm judging by what I see, bro. Like I'm seeing goofball logic that here's the thing, man. This is what fans have to understand too when these kind of conversations happen. Whether you want to argue these things about how logical they are and how normal they are and all these type of things, whether they make sense, the proof is going to have to come out in the pudding, man. The pudding ain't happening until this spring. The pudding is happening in the playoffs, bro. Like, You can say all this stuff about, hey, I'm not worried about Houston, man. Once we'll see, man. If what you're saying is true, it'll work in the playoffs. If the Coach Isolo system is the way to go, and it's not neutering John Morant, and it's not neutering Desmond Bane, we'll see in the playoffs. We'll see for sure. But here's the thing that I'm concerned about. I remember watching the NBA, and people talked about a Boston Celtics team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals, Jason Tatum's rookie year.
Right.
Continue to be somewhere in that hunt every year. Multiple conference finals, right? Trips to the NBA Finals, losing, all those type of things with Boston. In the narrative, every single year, regardless of their success, was, is it time to break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? This was the narrative that was coming out. If you're a Grizzlies fan and you don't see that shit coming from a lot of these stuff that's coming out, whether it's locally or nationally, there are people trying to pin Ja against Jaren and, Jaren's the franchise now. And all this stuff is coming out, right? And they're trying to catch Ja in his words and all these type of things. Probable. Hey, what's up with this probable shit, man? Just got a report from Grizzlies PR came through in real time. Luke Kennard listed as probable. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, I'm telling you, bro. Y'all think I'm joking. I'm not in the same timeline I was in a few months ago. Like something happened. Something happened, and I'm not in the same alternate. I'm not in the same reality as I was a few months ago, bro. Like,
do you see who's doubtful?
I'm in reality now where hold on, bro. Hold on. Yeah, Jake LaRavia, doubtful. He needs to be. So Gigi just needs to play all his minutes. Just let him play. Vince is still out. Nothing else more. Oh, wait a minute. Probable. I'm thinking trade, but no, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's got to be forced to kind of play. Well, not if Luke Kennard plays. But yeah, that kind of stuff is going to happen, man. Like going back to the John Jaren stuff, you're going to start hearing, what is this Grizzlies team? Is it time to go your separate ways with those dudes? And there's some talk on Twitter. I hate to point fingers at like isolated stuff, but I saw some things too that I myself would just like to speak on when it comes down to Ja. We have to remember that Ja Morant is a different type of dude.
Yep.
And whenever he feels like you're cornering him, or he feels like you're asking a question to get a specific answer, or for some article you're trying to write, or for some narrative you're trying to spin, it triggers him, and he doesn't respond well to that type of stuff. I've been on the other side of that. I've seen other people on the other side of that, and Ja is going to give you, these weird answers. But you have to understand, regardless of how Ja feels, because I think Ja thinks that if you look at things, especially with the podcast you saw the other day, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane clearly are on the island by themselves when it comes down to leadership. Within the big three, it's those two, then there's Ja. Now, does that particularly mean that he has issue with those two? No. But they're just not on the same energy. They're just not on the same wavelength right now. Like, they're just not, Ja likes to go do this. Y'all two kind of have this in common. I'm on something else right now, right?
Right.
Not these particular against them. And you have to also understand that, like, even though Ja may be totally cool with Jaren being the dude this year, because Jaren has been the best player on this team this season. And he's probably cool with people saying, Ja, Jaren is the franchise and all these type of things. And Ja says, hey, Jaren's the franchise. There's also a part of him that has to feel away. And I'm not saying that to be divisive at all. But what I'm saying is there are people who are going to see those type of things and make them divisive. What I'm saying is it's natural as a man that Ja may feel away. Why? Because he's one of the biggest stars in the NBA, and the path for him to make an all-star team even is going to be limited strictly because of injuries, because of time.
Right.
And the path for him to have postseason awards is going to be limited strictly because of injuries and the rules, right? So those are things that are all going through his mind. And he's also got this big conglomerate of Nike, this big monster machine behind him, who has the pressures of him being a NBA superstar. And because of all these weird injuries and just all these different things, his new offense and not getting foul calls and all that, Ja has to process all those things. So you'll get these weird quotes from Ja when asked those type of things, because he's like, yeah, these are my guys. I'm happy they're doing their thing, but crap, I don't feel the best that I'm not that dude anymore. Because Ja's not the Ja he was a couple years ago. There are several factors as to why. One of them is he gets subbed out 3 times a quarter. That might be why that he's playing for 2 minutes and sitting back down again and coming back in. All these weird. That's one thing that's an issue to why Ja's not being Ja. And those things are real though. And I think that if we don't have a successful offseason, those things going unsaid are going to turn into murmurs. You know what I mean? As far as this team is concerned. And it's kind of natural. That's how these things go. We'll be going into year 7, and this core that everybody was praising at one time hasn't turned into anything. It has been several, first, second round losses. So
I do think though, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I
expect
agree. Those things are natural, right? Those things are natural. You got 2 alphas, 3 alphas that firmly believe they should be the guy, right?
Yeah.
My only hope is 2 things: is that would spur a guy like 12 to say, you know what, like, let me just go and hoop, and let me just go prove it on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there is a real conversation to be had around the reason why Jaren is quote unquote the franchise player right now is because he's been available for years upon years upon years now. He's not
Which
missed
is so
games.
crazy we're saying that.
Right?
It's so crazy we're saying that about Jaren, because a couple years ago that was not the narrative.
That was not
totally
the narrative.
Flipped. The narrative was totally flipped.
100%.
A couple years ago. Yeah.
And so my hope is that would spur a level of I'm going to go, like, listen, there's only one thing I can control, and that's my number one, how I play on the court. Like, what I go do. Just go do it then. Like, just go and be that guy. And the second part of it is yes, there was a lot of murmurs and stuff about Jason and oh my gosh. Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Jason Brown. Okay.
A lot of murmurs. There was a lot of like think pieces about the way they interacted with each other.
It was so dumb. They were being punished for being good early, which is crazy.
They were punished for not being like buddy all the time. Like,
oh yeah,
BFF
and that being bad early. They were literally punished for being good,
right,
way ahead of time, way ahead of schedule. Yeah,
and so I think my hope is that if those things start to kind of percolate a little bit, whether it's in the media, whether it may be, is that they would just go, let's just concentrate on what we can concentrate on. Let the hooping do the talking for us, and just go play. Because I ultimately, like, even if there are like we're on two different planes, two different paths, we do two different things. Man, it's all good. Like, just go.
Yeah,
hoop
they don't have to be. They don't have to be on the same wavelength. Just go out there and hoop because they make beautiful music on the court. You know,
because you're right, dude.
Jaren, they love each other on the court. Yeah,
the language of Jaren on the, like, in post game interviews, all the interviews that he's done, the interview he did with the Out the Mud podcast, like, it's an insight into who Jaren is now. Yeah, and he has grown up. Like,
he's grown. He's not the kid talking about Pokemon and shit.
No, he's not a Pokemon kid anymore. He's not goofy like that anymore.
It was such a culture shock going from Grit and Grind Grizzlies to Jaren kid ass in the locker room.
Yeah,
I was like, bro, this dude's a damn child.
He's becoming one of those guys, right? Like, he's becoming one of those grit and grind type of guys. That surly veteran at this point. That all he wants to do is win. All he wants to do is win.
Yeah. And the thing is, when those type of questions arise, when those difficulties come, those type of questions arise, just because of his personality and because of, man, I'm that dude, and I know I'm that dude, those type of things combined will make not the best looking or sounding answers come out of Ja, right? And I'm prepared for that to happen. But we have to understand that, that's just kind of how it is. But that doesn't particularly mean anything. It doesn't mean these guys just like each other. Because Ja had weird energy when he was asked that question yesterday, and a couple people like, what is Ja on? But it's like I don't look at it. I don't look at it like that, really.
Let me ask you this: all we really know about those kinds of about the energy is the answers that are given in those post game interviews, the locker room interviews. I have heard Ja says, Ja has reactions to things, definitely. I have heard him take the blame for games too. I got to play better. I got to be better. Yep. This guy did this. I've got to be better. He shoulders the blame for a lot of stuff. When you look at a guy like the guy they played 2 days ago, Anthony Edwards, there were post-game interviews with him over the last couple of months where he was just lighting up folks, right? Like in his own locker room, in his own where he, like, we're not listening to coaches. We're not doing this.
Ja ain't doing none of that shit.
Do you like Ant's honesty in that regard, or do you wish that stuff would stay in?
Some of that I wish Ja would do. Sometimes you could tell Ja has something he wants to say that he's not saying.
Right.
And it's been that way like this season a lot, more so than ever.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's something he wants to say that he's not saying. But I think those things, have to be looked at. And I'm going to deal with one more thing before we wrap this up, man. I'm going to address one more thing that's kind of going around a lot. And it's a lot of fans are saying that Ja is like about the foul calls, like the unfair foul calls and things like that, right? People have to understand, man, that 2021 through 2023 run, the Grizzlies are paying for a lot of the sins that they made doing that run, man. Like, we had Dylan, Dez, and other guys on this team. It was a lot of shit talking. It was a lot of front running. It was a lot of just, fuck all y'all energy we had as a team. Yeah. And people are saying, like, well, this is Ja getting punished by the league by, the off the court stuff. Like, man, that shit is over, bro. Like, they understand the marketability of Ja Morant, but these refs still feel away towards a lot of guys on this team, man. Because we've done.
But why though? Because the Grizzlies didn't show the refs up.
We did, bro. We did a lot. If you go back and watch us do, if you go back and just think in your headspace, just go back to 21-20. Those teams, like we were with those 50-win teams.
Yeah,
bro, we did a lot of crazy ass talking, bro. And because remember that was the initiative for last season. Taylor Jenkins was like, just shut up and play basketball. We did a lot of crazy ass stupid talking, bro. Like a lot of little just weird jabbing, talking the whole game and doing this and doing that and just being like real braggadocious and stuff. And that stuff can tick off referees, bro. Like for real. And I think that they're paying their individual debts for stuff that they've done over time. And then the way the job responds to it, like, man, they're not going to give you more because you're, adamant about it. You know what I mean? That's something that Coach Jenkins has to, and his front office has to address with the referees. They have to let them do the talking to get texts and go off. And when have you seen Taylor Jenkins go off one time about how Ja's being officiated?
Yesterday against
When?
Minnesota. During the
He
game.
went off when? No. I mean, post game, mic to your mouth, sound bite ready. When has he went off in the locker room?
To take that for data moment, right?
And every major player in the NBA, if they're getting beat up like that, their coach is going ape shit just to get the attention on them and get it off of the player. I'm telling you this is really messed up. One of the biggest stars in the league is getting handled like this. Yeah. When have you seen that rant from Taylor Jenkins at one time?
I don't know if you have. I don't know if
it ain't happened. It ain't never happened.
Yeah,
ain't never happened.
I mean, you do see him going nuts in games, right? Like you'll see him go nuts in games, but like having that mic'd up moment, post game interview, that kind of deal. No, I don't think we've seen that. And I do think there's a time and place for that. Absolutely. Coaches should be willing to take that fine and take that heat to get it off of Ja. You know what I'm saying? Like I would like to see that, definitely. I have a question for you before we close this down. I can already tell you what, and I know you don't care about this, but I want you to answer the question. All right. Mm-hmm. I can already see the comments. I can already read the comments that are going to come from this podcast. And that's going to be, Anthony, we're third in the Western Conference, bro. Like they're winning a lot of games. Like
go look at our numbers.
What are you so upset about? They got top 10 defense, top 10 offense. What are you upset about?
Go look at those numbers over the last 15, all the numbers we're bragging about. Look at those numbers over the last 15, 20 games. They ain't the same. Our offensive rating is going down. And we're, regardless of any of that, bro, like, I don't care about how we look against whoever. I don't know, San Antonio. How are we looking against playoff teams? It ain't the same. It ain't the same.
You know what's scary?
We play good teams in the playoffs, bro. So I don't really care how we look against Schmoes.
You know what's scary? You know what's scary about the way this playoff situation is lining itself up? You know the teams that if the Grizzlies stay where they're at right now, if everything stays the same, they're playing LA Lakers in the first round.
And we will go home in the first round.
If they pass Houston, they're playing the Clippers in the first round. Mm-hmm. If they go down one more seed and go to the 4 seed, they're playing Denver in the first round.
Yeah. And those are teams I do not want to see us matched up again. Yeah, bro. I mean, this is a fun season. This is the most talent we've ever had. I don't want people to think I'm not having fun, but I'm just not amped about wins like I was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
y'all got me in the sunken place, man. I'm in this timeline where we got probable updates on the injury reports. Something happened.
The injury report's looking a lot better, man. We just need Vince back and we need Marcus back, and I think a lot of the stuff that you're talking about will flesh itself out. I hope.
Here's the thing, too, man. If GG's back and Coach Jenkins is saying, "Oh, I didn't plan on playing him," what's he gonna say when Vince come back? Is he gonna plan on playing him? He ain't playing no more games. He's gonna look probably worse than GG looks.
Yeah,
because Vince looked bad last time we saw him. Then he got hurt again.
Yeah. I don't know why people think GG didn't look bad to me.
He looks out of shape.
I mean, he looks out of shape.
Yeah,
but I mean. That size, dude. I'm so ready to see in shape GG.
That dude looks like he damn near 7 feet out there, bro.
He walked.
He's
past,
6'10".
He walked past Jaren in a post-game post-game interview, and I was like,
face to face,
he's like an inch shorter than Jaren.
And Jaren's probably legit 6'11", 6'12",
6'13".
Yeah, something like that. Well, man, I'm gonna slide about this joint, man. It's been a good one. I don't want y'all to think I'm like the season's over type shit, man. Like, I don't think we're going to do much in the playoffs. I just don't. It's coaching. I'll say that it's coaching. And I hope that this last summer we got rid of all the assistant coaches. So I'm assuming that if we fail again in the playoffs, hey, it is what it is, man. The proof's in the pudding. But for Kenny Stubblefield, this is Anthony Sain. We'll see y'all Friday, man. Might have a very special guest for Friday's show. A guy I've been communicating with might have a very special guest on Friday. We'll see how that goes down. But we'll see y'all Friday, man, and we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.